Welcome to Wild Breakaway with Wes Walls. I'm Audra Martin. A change of scenery seems to be just what the doctor ordered tonight for the Minnesota Wild on the road in one of the most iconic arenas in hockey in Madison Square Garden. They get a 4-1 win against the New York Rangers to snap a 5-game skid and get themselves back in the playoff picture.
Yeah, and just feeling good about themselves. Zach in his post-game presser interview with Kevin just talked about how great it felt walking back into the locker room. There's been a lot of somber faces around the locker room here over the last couple of weeks, so it had to feel really good. You could tell going into this game, Audra, especially the first period, the Minnesota Wild only gave up 8 shots to the New York Rangers, and I don't know really if Devan Dubnyk had to make a grade A chance, so you could see that this team was really dialed in defensively. They were going to keep everything to the outside. Later in the game, when the game was on the line, you needed Devan Dubnyk to make a couple big saves. He did the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game to be able to preserve these 2 points for the Minnesota Wild, which catapulted them back into a playoff spot.
Now, speaking of Devan Dubnyk, he picks up a big win today, holding the opposition to under 2 goals for the first time in a month. So looking a lot more like the Devan Dubnyk of the earlier part of this season with those 33 saves here tonight. The Wild go 1 for 1 on the power play, 2 for 3 on the penalty kill, killing off that big 4-minute minor at the end of the game. That was certainly key to a big 2 points here for Minnesota.
Right now it's just 1 win, but we had to go through a little bit of adversity there just to get it. So it's when your penalty killing is struggling and then they get a double minor with 6 minutes to go in the game, it's you're wondering, uh-oh. And a couple good breaks here and there, and we talked about it the other day. Puck luck, you need a little bit of it sometime, and I thought we had a little more of it than they did tonight.
So the Wild have a quick turnaround. This road trip continues tomorrow as they take on Dylan Larkin and the Detroit Red Wings, who are, like the Rangers, a team on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. But of course, that means that a team, might not be playing for a postseason ticket, but they are playing for themselves, for jobs, for respect, all of the above. So you can't take them too lightly, and the Minnesota Wild need to build off of what they did tonight. Well,
the Minnesota Wild took them too lightly in St. Paul here about 2 weeks ago and blew a 2-1 lead and ended up losing 5-2. And I was just looking at doing some research on Detroit. They've only won 2 games in regulation at home in their last 13. So they've been struggling at home, even though they've scored 16 goals in their last 5 games. They were very impressive in St. Paul, and it kind of shocked me to see how they've been struggling a little bit at home. They are a very, very fast team that's scoring some goals right now. So being really, really good defensively is going to give the Minnesota Wild the best opportunity to win. Hopefully that continues tomorrow in Detroit.
Yep. Quick turnaround for the Wild, for us, for you.
We'll be back.
So yeah, we'll be back. Plenty to talk about tomorrow after the Wild find themselves back in the win column. So we'll see you tomorrow. For Wes Walls, I'm Audra Martin. Thanks for joining us tonight on Wild Breakaway.